Mayor Karen Bass's proposed $4.8 million budget cut to animal services threatens to close half of the city's shelters and eliminate 62 jobs. In response to public outcry, $5 million has been proposed to prevent these closures, but still requires approval. Meanwhile, shelters remain overwhelmed with overcrowding and rising euthanasia rates. I have with me three frontline animal advocates and rescuers to discuss this issue right now.
Well, welcome. I want to get right into this, and I'm going to ask you ladies the first question. I'll start with Hayes. Thanks for being here. Hayes, why, after the mayor said that she confirmed that there is $5 million set aside that will be used for the animal shelters, why are people so worried right now that that's about that going through? Can you address that?
So I'm Hayes. I'm from Take Me Home Rescue. I'm also on the Board of Social Compassion and Legislation. I believe we are worried because it's not just about money. It's about leadership. And we've had a lack of leadership. I believe you could give them $30 million and they still wouldn't know how to properly spend it. They've had a surplus in their budget last year. They did not spend all their money. So it's not all about money. Yes, money's a big part of it, but we need a different type of general manager. We can't keep making the same mistakes because the lack of leadership, you could give them all the money in the world and it's not going to make a difference.
Simone, did you want to weigh in on that?
Yes, I'm Simone Reyes. I'm an animal rights activist. I'm also on the Board of Social Compassion and Legislation. And what Hayes said is absolutely true. The issue, of course, money is very important, but the truth is that animals that are getting rescued and are making it out alive is really no thanks to what's going on in the shelters. It's the private, small rescues who are doing all the work, carrying all the load, and spending all the money. So we are in a crisis because of mismanagement. These are very adoptable, young, wonderful animals that are being euthanized in horrible numbers for literally no reason. And so, having money set aside, okay, that's good, but without knowing how to manage it and actually putting the animals first, we are going to stay in this crisis and it's going to continue to get worse.
Thank you for weighing in on that. I actually have a clip related to what you're saying about management. I'd like to play this clip right now.
So I do think the city is about to make the same mistake they've been making for the last 30 years. They're going to find an outside search committee that's going to look for a new director, and they will only consider people that have run a large city animal services before. That's failed 30 years in a row. I do think that we all need to implore our city councilmen and write letters to the mayor, directly to the mayor, not to Jackie. Judy's the best person for this job.
Yes!
No, she absolutely is. And the last go around when Karen took over as the mayor, Antonio Villaraigosa, Cardenas, myself, half a dozen people wrote letters to the mayor. The problem is the mayor had nothing to do with the selection process. We cannot allow that to happen again. And I've actually spoken to her about it. We all need to press on the city councilman and on the mayor to not do that. It's a failed process. They've proven it. Judy has never run.
Thanks for watching that. So I would, Simone, you're on camera right now. Why don't you talk a little bit about Judy, because I know you work very closely with her, and if you don't mind, and if you could talk a little bit too about, the overcrowding and the euthanasia rate, what could be done differently?
Well, first of all, I believe just giving power into the people that are already doing all the work, which is the rescues, bringing back the volunteers that have been let go for, again, no good reason. Basically having shelters work as a triage. where medical is provided, where foster homes are vetted, and not what it is now. On so many levels, you know, it's really just a place where animals wait around for a bit and then they die. And it's
Right.
horrific. And so right now, yes, you mentioned Judy Mancuso. So many of us do believe that when her name was floated around, even though she doesn't have direct shelter experience, we actually saw that as a good thing because so far, so many of the people that have the shelter experience have failed. And I think that at this point, we should run the shelters like you would any large business, and try, you know, the animals are the ones that have all of the value, and the rescues have all of the value, and start making it so that those are the ones that are supported versus what's happening now. So Judy,
So
you know,
you're saying, you're saying small independent rescue organizations,
are
that
doing
would be the
lifting.
answer.
They are. And you need to have people in power who recognize that and understand that, you know, the rescues are already completely overburdened, and there are no foster homes and there's no money, and it's a crisis. But at the end of the day, they are the only hope at this point for animals to get out.
Okay, great. I'm going to ask the same question of Hayes and let you answer, because I know you work also with Judy Mancuso with at Social Compassion in Legislation. So please go ahead and talk about that if you would.
So the first go around, I don't know if people remember, but we did a lot of rallies for Judy Mancuso.
Could you talk a little louder? I'm having a
Oh.
little trouble hearing you, if you could.
So we originally pitched Judy Mancuso the last go around when they were looking for a GM. And Mayor Bass acknowledged us, but never met with Judy. And the reason why we want Judy is Julie is a policymaker. And without policy, without keeping the animals from ever entering the shelter, you are doomed to fail. Once they're inside the shelter, honestly, these animals are screwed. And it's just the truth. You cannot adopt your way out of this. We have a saturation problem. And Judy believes in spay and neuter, which is the only solution to animal overpopulation. And also responsible breeding. Hey, listen, guess what? We don't want to do rescue. We want responsible breeders. We want to get out of this business. We're not making money in it. We want to get out. But there has to be policy, and there has to be responsibility to the public. And Judy would be brilliant at that. That is what she is the best in. And it's really unfortunate that Mayor Bass never took the time out to really listen to somebody that's making laws happen that other states are actually replicating. So
Right.
That's why we wanted Judy. And if it's not Judy, they should listen to her and get her input on a GM.
Bring her in as an advisor, right?
Exactly.
An expert advisor, that would work. Shira, I'll bring you in a moment. But just to kind of emphasize for people that don't know about this, I'll play this little clip.
She says, most importantly, LA is a kill city.
When a dog gets youth listed, they'll take a dog off the website. They'll put them in the back where they're not available to public view. So they're setting this dog to die and then giving them the littlest chance to get out of the shelter as possible.
How many dogs a week would you say get euthanized that shouldn't be put to sleep?
At like South LA, I know weekly it could be 5 to 10 dogs are getting euthanized.
Wow, that is so shocking. Shira, I'm going to bring you in. I think you were at the protest, correct? The other day?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. I was there too, and I didn't see, we probably crossed paths and didn't see each other. I want to go back to that for a moment, because I want to pedal back a little bit to, like, suddenly, first of all, the mayor was saying, and this is a little bit where we were talking about a little earlier, how the mayor backpedaled. First, she was saying that she wanted to cut the budget by 4.8 million, and then there was a big protest, and I want to show a little clip of that. real quick here, folks.
LA Animal Shelter, say! LA Animal Shelter, say!
Hey there. Do you happen to know what this is about?
Yes, the LA Animal Shelters. Karen Bass is putting all the funding, right? And closing 3 of the shelters.
Yeah.
West LA Harbor and West Valley.
West Valley. So Bass is cutting the funding to various Los Angeles animal shelters? Right. Thank you.
Yes.
LA Animal Shelter, say! LA Animal Shelter, say! LA Animal Shelter, say! LA Animal Shelter, say! LA Animal Shelter, save them!
All right. Well, you were there. I was there. There were quite a lot of people there. And then the next thing we heard was that, oh, there is money in the budget. It was just a little bit of a miscommunication. And it seems we talked about this a little bit earlier that everyone on the side of the animals, it appears, is really upset or worried that this is not going to happen. How do you feel about that?
I think that I mean, it could have been premeditated, but I think that if she actually was earmarking money for LA Animal Services in the unappropriated funds, she would have done that. She would have known to do that. I think that she saw all the outrage and then she said, oh, no, I'm setting aside money. But I also think whether it was premeditated or not, it's brilliant because then it makes everyone go, oh, thank God she's not shutting down 3 shelters. But it takes us away from the whole point, which was we need more money. And, you know, I think she does these mind games. She's constantly backtracking. She's constantly gaslighting everyone. She doesn't see the shelter as a priority. It's very clear. So do I think she initially was going to give that $5 million? No. Do I think she still will? I don't really believe anything she says anymore. I don't really think, you know, her word means anything. I don't know if that answered your question, but
yeah, it's good to get your perspective. We were talking a little bit earlier with the other 2 guests, and their feeling is, I don't want to speak for you, and you can jump in a moment here, that it's the mismanagement aspect of it. So let's just let's go ahead and go around about that and what Shira just said. Let's kind of see what your reaction to that, you guys. Hayes, go ahead.
About what Shira just said?
Yeah, what Shira's saying, that in terms of, is it the money or is it the management issue, or is it both? Like, what's going on?
Without a good manager, that money doesn't matter. I mean,
right.
I think, yeah, we're getting so fixated on money. It's funny, it's Judy Mancuso. Her ears are just like, oh. It does not matter. It's about, I'll tell you, getting a good general manager is step 1. Because honestly, right now, you could pour all the money into this. I mean, people should look at how they spent money. It's public information. You can look it up. You can see the Animal Welfare Trust Fund. That's supposed to be for the animals. That trust fund is money that when people pass away, they'll donate their whole estate to that trust fund. That money is earmarked to touch the lives of an animal only. Well, guess what? Staff did trips on it. They had pizza parties on it. They got ice machines, but they weren't for the animals. They were for the humans. There has been so much abuse on money. So that's why I think, right, the $5 million, we're making such a big deal. Oh my God, we're not closing 3 shelters. It is so much bigger than that. And again, it's all about a general manager. And then, yeah, it's about money. Absolutely.
Okay, so I have another question, and anybody can jump in on this, and it just came to mind, like, if we did get a new manager, a good representative that is going to go in with a whole new perspective, would she be able to work with or he be able to work with Mayor Bass, or is that going to be problematical? Who wants to take that?
I mean,
okay, go ahead, Sharon.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I mean, I think that Mayor Bass and her office, and you guys can tell me if you disagree, have no idea what they're doing. And I think that somebody that comes in would just lead the charge. So I think that as long as they appointed somebody that really knew what they were doing, not another repeat of the past ones, then yeah, they would see that changes are actually being made, that people are actually happy, and then it would benefit them. They would look good under their reign as mayor, because right now she's not looking good.
And also, just to touch on what Shira's saying, it's a really good question that you just asked about, well, how is it working with the mayor? You're right. And if Mayor Bass, if Jacqueline Hamilton, who runs our department, ties the hands of the new GM and doesn't allow them to speak the truth and to say we're in a crisis and to say, hey, we're killing these amazing animals and we don't want to, and to get a super good PR team, because it is about PR, then you're right, it doesn't really matter. Because if she ties a great GM's hands, you're right, nothing will change. And that GM will just quit.
Well, we would need to have a GM that was going to insist on telling the truth. A GM that cares.
Depends on the mayor's office. Right. I mean, it is. If the
I mean,
so do you think the public's influence can, like, in this situation, it was amazing to see. I was at the protest, how many people showed up. I know all of them, don't all necessarily follow the same philosophy or were there for exactly the same reasons. But the fact is, it did make her speak up and change her tune a bit. At least that's from the outside. That's what it looks like to me. So do you think that in this case, if you have the public backing, that would give a new general manager? Because it seems like everyone sort of agrees of what's needed, a better system, a better manager. And is that critical? Because we want the people who are watching to, the main reason to have you guys on is, what can we do to help save the animals? So who wants to address that, if you don't mind? Anyone?
I'm happy to. I don't want to keep talking.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I think that it is so critical for everyone to speak up and insist that they have the people that really know, the rescuers that are in the shelters, the volunteers, even the staff, the staff that, truly care, that work in the shelters. They need to have the public speak up and say, we're not going to accept another Stacey Danes. We're not going to accept another best friend's puppet. You have to hire somebody that is different from the past. Why would they keep repeating the past if it's not working? So I think everyone just needs to, support whomever the rescuers, champion to be the next GM.
And social media will mistake. Tagging, everyone that has power in making a change will never be a mistake. Nobody wants to see their name hashtagged with something, unflattering. Nobody wants to be called out on social media by the hundreds or the thousands. So yeah, and it's something that's so easy for people to do, is to just constantly be using their social media to just be like, Mayor Bass, what are you doing? I think it's finally gotten to the point where some people, and not all, that's for sure, but where some people now understand that, the word shelter should not be what we are calling the shelters. Shelter is actually a really beautiful word of, providing care and warmth and food. And that is the feeling of the word shelter. That is not what we have going on anymore. And we haven't for a long time. And nothing breaks my heart more of, showing up at a shelter to do a poll, and you still see, which is shocking to me, but you still see people bringing in their animals that they can no longer take care of for whatever reason. They can't afford them, whatever it is. And they've got their toys and they have their little coats and they have their bowls, and they actually think that this is a safe place for them. And for the most part, they are not. So yeah, I would say, the volunteers that take it upon themselves to often anonymously show the animals on social media, show their stories, take video of their heartbroken, eyes when they're being surrendered.
by the only, it's upsetting, by the only home they've ever known, and get that out there and have people get angry about it and use social media and be like, this is not a shelter. We need to make change, and we need to make it now.
Yeah, I have a couple more questions I want to get to with everyone. One of the questions, or does anyone else want to address that one quickly?
Well,
Okay.
I just want to say that
Go ahead, please.
people think, I think what causes a little confusion is the smaller independent rescuers want one thing, and like a lot of the big national groups want another thing. And it causes this confusion to lawmakers, and they think, wow, they fight a lot and they don't get along. But I really hope people see that the smaller rescues really want to get out of the business, whereas a lot of the big groups are making millions off the problem. And I really hope that if we do another rally, if the smaller groups are like, come, support this nominee for a general manager, I hope people will come out and help us push that person, because we really want change for the animals. We don't want another no-kill lie GM that's gonna just do smoke and mirrors and talk the talk, but nothing changes. The animals do not have any more time to waste. We've wasted so much time listening to a lot of the big groups, and they picked the general manager that the big groups wanted, and we are in a crisis now.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else? Did you want to comment?
I just want to add to that. That is
Go
so
ahead.
true. It is these large organizations that are really creating the problem. Our shelters are not no kill. They never were. When you say, we're going to be no kill, we did this, what did you do to help that? Nothing. We need to actually fix the problem, because like Hayes said, real rescuers don't want to be doing this. We don't want to have animals that need to be rescued.
Right. It seems like it's works better on a grassroots level, but we do want to say that some large, and I know you're not referring to this, Hayes, but like PETA, we love PETA and other large organizations.
We love
but you're
PETA.
talking about something completely different. It's more of
PETA
a
rocks.
bureaucratic, I think you're saying, right? Kind of, you're talking about that, where everything gets stuck and nothing happens. And I just recently, real quickly, I just adopted two. You might have heard the barking. A month ago, and I lost the girl, and I lost her very quickly within 3 weeks. And my heart is, I can't even think about it, and I'm devastated. But it was from a high kill shelter, Apple Valley, not this area, but she had distemper, and apparently was not a new situation there. So this is so rampant in all the shelters, and if there was a new system in place, then like you said, the others will follow if there's a successful model out there. What do you all think about the spay neuter? They're proposing reduction in the cost. Is that going to help things, or should it be freer? I'd love to hear each of your opinions on that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So some are saying that the price of spay neutering at the shelter should be reduced, and that would help have more people bring their dogs in. That's been proposed. Do you think making it cheaper to spay neuter is the answer to reducing the amount of animals right now as we're trying to make these changes?
At the shelter or vet offices, you mean?
I believe they're saying for the city to make it, like right now they have a $120 voucher. And they're saying that when people will, rather than spay neuter, they'll just have puppies and then surrender them. And that was happening when I was adopting at Apple Valley. We took 2 out, and someone was bringing 4 in and saying they were from Lancaster. And then they said to him, well, then you have to bring in a Lancaster. It was a whole thing. But that's what they're kind of saying. Would that, I'm asking you, would that help?
Voucher?
Say that again?
Do you mean the spay and neuter voucher?
Yeah, that's what they have now. And they're saying, would that help? A spay and neuter voucher, would that help? That's what they're proposing now.
To increase the value of the voucher?
Yeah, so that that more people spay neuter.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, well, first of all, it's funny. We always had this argument with Brenda Barnett about the vouchers because we were like, give the vouchers to LAPD to give out, put the vouchers at churches, put the vouchers. And she's like, oh, well, that's money. It's only money if it's used. And
Yeah.
the problem is for LA, people are not using the vouchers. So, absolutely, I'm for having less vouchers and increasing the value of the voucher so more people redeem them. The ones who are the cat rescuers who do trap and neuter and release. The community cat people are amazing at redeeming the vouchers, but not the public. So absolutely, I'm for that.
What you're seeing, what is happening is all of us small rescues, because there's no homes left, there's no foster homes left, we're all creating our own spay neuter clinics. I'm working with an organization right now that offers free spay neuter for anyone that needs. If these larger organizations truly wanted to fix the crisis, they would focus all of their energy into spay neuter everywhere. There should be free spay neuter to everyone that needs it, or low cost, and enforcement on the law. You have to spay and neuter your dog. Enforcement on you can't breed. You can't be on Skid Row openly breeding your dog, having puppies, and animal control comes and gives them supplies. Those are the only two things that will solve this crisis: spay and neuter and enforcing already existing laws. And for some reason, they're not focusing on that. And that is the only thing that will save us.
Simone, did you want to add anything? Oops, maybe I know she has a spotty connection. She's in a valley, really beautiful valley, but so we'll just go on. Well, hopefully she'll come back on. I think she will. So the city council is voting on June 1st about animal services. So what would you like to see? I'll ask each of you, since you were just speaking. Let's start with Hayes, please.
Well, now that I just heard today that the council member in District 15 just said that we're being unfair to breeders, it's shocking to me that the city council would say that today, after everything that they're seeing in the crisis of LA Animal Services. Yeah, they did today.
How are we? I don't even understand that.
Yeah, it's going to be posted on Facebook. Gail Raff is posting it. She has it on tape. So I don't know. I think everybody needs to email their city council person. And honestly, we need to light them up, because we think that they're educated on our issues, but obviously they're still not.
Is there any, oops, we lost.
I don't see how the two connect, though. What does the animal services budget have to do with breeders?
I guess the breeder's permit, he doesn't like it.
I'm not in.
Tell me who this is and I will shred him. Mm-hmm. That is unacceptable.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like it's very heated, and there are a lot of people taking action about this. I think, oh, here comes Simone again. I wanted her to weigh in. Anyway, we'll just keep going here and see if I have any other questions for you right now. So where can we send people to take action? Simone, you're back in. Let's grab you while we can. Oh my goodness. Maybe we'll just keep going. I guess she's still not. Yeah, we see you now. Okay. Did you want to weigh in? I don't know if you heard what we were talking about, but did you want to weigh in on anything we were just saying? About the spay neuter clinic in particular, we were talking about that. Having trouble hearing you, there's no sound. Well, I'm sorry you're going to hear. Can you quiet the puppy? I wasn't lying about the puppy. We can't hear you, Simone, so I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Anyway, where we left off, I'm getting myself a little confused here. Okay, what do we want people to do right now? I'm going to ask each. I'll go start around this way, and then what are the best steps to take for people that are concerned?
Oh, sorry. Who's going first?
Go ahead, Shira.
I mean, I didn't know that city council person said that, so I have to watch that. But
Me too.
especially if that's true,
Me
people
too.
need to be very vocal that our city council, our mayor, need to listen to us rescuers and need to not make the same mistakes they've been making. And I can't wrap my head around the breeder thing, I guess. Still, maybe Hayes can shed more
And
light
I
on
think
that.
too, I know city council's a pain for people to go to, but it really is the most effective. You and remember, these people work for you, and we have to kind of think of that. We get really timid and people get scared. No, they work for you. So if you have time to go to a meeting, and even if an animal item is not on the agenda, there's public comment. Keep it always in the forefront. We have to keep our issues on. There's a lot of people fighting for their issues, and the animals only have us. So we have to make sure that we're always in their ear. And so if you can go to a council meeting, please go.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a ton of people at the rally, which was amazing to see. But there weren't as many in the town hall meeting. And I mean, it was a long day. It was a very long day, not gonna lie. But yeah, I think Hayes is right. The next one, if we got that room filled with people, I think they'll realize that they have to listen. Oh, now I can't hear anyone.
Would that be on June 1st? That it would be great that it would, is that what you're saying?
I don't know when the next one
That's
is.
what they're voting
They
on
have
it.
them all week. There's like 3 a week, or
They don't always allow public comment, though, do they?
Yeah, but yes, you're always allowed public comment. You're
Oh,
always allowed on that mic, and animal people to just pop in and be on that mic as much as possible.
Simone, do you want to see if your vocal's working? Nope. We can't hear you. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. You're definitely not muted on my end. Okay. But is there anything, actually, we've run out of time, believe it or not, we've been over our time. Is there anything that we haven't covered that's important? Shira, I'll start with you.
I think just really people making their voices heard, that things need to change. We can't keep repeating the cycle because, a lot of rescues are going under. I have no more foster homes. There are no more homes. Like, we said this would happen. And it's infuriating when you hear some of the larger orgs go, well, we're relying on these rescues. Well, stop relying on us. We don't want to do your work. We can't do your work anymore. Spay and neuter. Spay and neuter should be the number one. And it is accessible. All of us small rescues are nonstop making it accessible to anyone that needs. And that's in my opinion, the only thing that's going to save us. Spay and neuter and enforcing laws. Do not let people just have litters and not have their dog fixed. I mean, it's a law. It needs to be enforced.
How do you think it would work with the small rescues? How would that be managed by the city, do you think? I know that's a really probably tough question because we probably didn't think about it, but do you think it would be easy to, would they have to go through certain kind of certification or something in order to qualify? And would there have to be overseers and stuff? How would that all work? Let's talk about that for a minute before we wrap up.
You mean enforcing?
Like, how would they make sure that it doesn't go awry as many things do? I know all the smaller rescues that I know of are amazing, but I also know that there are some groups out there that call themselves sanctuaries, rescues, etc., that are not in the interest of animals, how would that be vetted? Or would you see that as problematical because it's just in a smaller city thing? Do you think that might not be a problem?
No, that's part of the problem is that they know who these rescues are that are trafficking puppies in from puppy mills. They know, you could see on the street on Skid Row. I mean, actually, it's not just Skid Row anymore. It's on so many streets. There are homeless people, breeding their dogs. So if we had animal control officers that worked with, LAPD when needed to actually, enforce the law to not let them breed in open daylight, to make them spay and neuter, or relinquish. I mean, really, a lot of these dogs on the street are treated horribly. Then we can make so much progress. There are breeders that continuously dump litters at the shelter, and no one asks where the mother is. No one goes and does any follow-up. There are just so many things that could be done to control this crisis. There's so much.
Well, thank you. I mean, it sounds like you guys are all in agreement. Let's oh my goodness. John, are they okay? I think my big dog might have taught him a lesson.
Yeah, I think so.
Really didn't hurt him. But anybody else on that one? I think Hayes. Simone, unfortunately, I don't know if we can hear you, but I know you have a lot to offer, and I'm so sorry we can't get your input. It bums me out, really. This is a little bumpy, but it's so important. We're just going to keep going. So let's keep going. I'm sorry about my dog.
Basically, it's a scary time. I've been doing rescue for way too long, and this is a scary moment because I do feel we are saturated. I do. People are not finding fosters for cute, perfect little dogs. Usually the big ones are hard. Now the little ones are hard. The shelter is dumping cats back on the streets. They're literally at night taking them out of the shelter and dumping them back onto the public. It's like Mad Max. And
how would we find out about? I mean, that sounds so outrageous. Not that
No, they admit it.
They admit it.
Yeah, you can listen to the commission meetings. They admit doing it. It's going to take
What's
a lawsuit.
The justification? They think they survive out there better. They maybe
because every cat's a community cat now to them. And basically, if it's a stray, they'll put it back on the street. So we are there now. We're in a place that you never thought we would be, where we're dumping animals back onto the streets. We're not taking them into the shelter. We can't find fosters. I mean, this is it. And without really the city coming together and the general manager coming together, and really having community effort and really enforcing laws. I mean, social compassion and legislation did the spay and neuter law for the city. We did it. They have it. No one's enforcing it. Yeah, we have a breeder's permit. No one's enforcing it. So we have the laws. No one's enforcing it. So this is it, guys. I mean, this is it. I feel like this is it for the animals. It's either now or never.
Yeah, it sounds like if people don't take control, it's only going to get so bad that it's unimaginable what we're going to see. I mean, the high kill, the euthanasia rate, the distemper rates, all of these things, dumping cats on the street.
Yeah, you can look up the sanitation for the Department of Sanitation. They do their reports. Look up the amount of dead cats. It's skyrocketed because they're all on the street getting hit by cars. It's all public information. That's the thing. You can see it. It's all public. It's all horrible. And, and again, it's like, we can't keep letting this happen. It's wrong.
We've been saying the same thing for years. We said we would get to a point of no return. We've been there for a really long time. It's going to take us a while to fix it if they start allowing, it to be fixed. But until these large organizations stop lying about what's happening, and I don't even know how they're continuing the lie. Like to even say the words, oh, and no kill will be 20, like just stop.
Say that full sentence so that we all know what you're talking about. Because you guys know, but maybe some of our viewers don't.
Well, there's an organization called, the main one is Best Friends, and they keep saying, I just got an email yesterday saying, we're doing so great. The shelters are doing better than ever, and we're going to be no kill. I guess now they're saying 2026. That is just, why would you say that? Do you think any shelters want to kill, first of all? Second of all, we've never been no kill. That's just a lie in itself. But like, do not make it sound like things are good. Things are disgusting. They're deplorable. It's not going to help if we keep sugarcoating it, saying things are great. And the reason these organizations like that does that is because they take credit and say things are great because of our life-saving programs. But if you actually ask them, well, what exactly are you doing?
And people should. And I do want to just jump in there and invite Best Friends on at any time to give their side of the story. So we try not to talk about individual groups and say more general. Yeah, it's okay. But we do want to have people look into that. It's important. I think the exposing of what is going on, and you guys are doing that. So I wish we could get a little bit more into it, but from Simone too. But you guys are really helping open my eyes, and I hope that our audience also has that opportunity to watch this.
There. I think she looks pretty good right now.
She looks good, but I don't know if we can hear her.
For some reason, you can't hear me.
Yeah,
we can hear you now. We can hear you now.
Okay.
So go ahead and jump in, Simone. What do you feel about all these things we were saying? Just whatever, any of them you want to.
Well, of course, we're all on the same team. We all believe the same things. We see where the problems are. Unfortunately, we know what needs to be done, but it's a huge bureaucracy. It's very hard to make changes. A lot of people are afraid of changes. They just keep the status quo, and this is how we got into this situation. So at the end of the day, if there's one thing, it's spay and neuter. It is the answer. We all know it's the answer. And I will also say, since you do have an audience, that if you are watching and if your animal obviously is not spayed or neutered, that's number one. Number two, get them microchipped. We saw what happens when animals are not microchipped during the fires, and it is a disaster. Microchips will reunite animals, and I can't even tell you how many animals have not been reunited because they were not microchipped. It is a complete disaster. So that's number one, spay and neuter. Number two is microchip. And at the end of the day is to use social media, hashtags, call out your individuals, speak to your elected officials, tell them that this is an issue that is in the forefront of your mind and that you're tired of having your taxpayer money going to taking cats, as was said, and dumping them in the streets when no one is looking. That is deplorable. That is criminal. That is insane.
Yeah. I would love to add in one quick thing as well.
Go ahead.
For everyone watching.
Go ahead.
I'm a part of a new organization called Angels for Angels. If anyone has an animal that is not fixed, we will fix your animal. We will microchip them. That is the number one thing every organization should be doing. So, there's so many of us small ones that are doing that. So Angels for Angels, contact us and we will fix your animal. That's the only thing that's going to save us.
What do you think about more protests? We got a comment from Jane, actually. She's watching. And she says, and I said this already, we invite any organizers mentioned in this live show anytime to weigh in. So we want to repeat that again. But she says we need more protests, and we need local TV investigators that can do this deep investigation that we can't, unfortunately, on this network because we don't have a legal team, and that's why we have to be very careful. But is there anything else we want to talk about before we go? I want to give everyone one more shot around if there's anything we missed I want to make sure we cover it.
No,
So.
I think microchipping is huge, but you have to make sure to register your chip. We're finding a lot of chips that aren't registered. So
Yeah, that's very true.
Anything else, ladies?
We need to just get everyone on board with spay and neuter and making it affordable and not making excuses and enforcing the law. And I think it speaks volumes, the groups that oppose mandatory spay neuter. I think that everyone should be in favor of mandatory spay neuter if they truly want to solve this crisis.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's always good when people reveal themselves, and you should always believe them when they do, I guess. So I guess we can close on that. Okay, wait, we have one more call.
Did we lose our host?
We lose the host.
No, we're all just here.
I'm back, and we just want to we're not giving up here. This is like the people, you guys fighting this cause. And Jane says 66% of people have companions. That's true. It's a huge, powerful demographic that holds lots of political sway. So Mary Beth would be smart to transform animal services. And again, we're saying Judy, right? Judy Mancuso for general manager here.
Or at least advisor, yes.
Yes, or play a strong role. Yes, absolutely. And listening to the people, and the people have to, that's the other thing. Please, please, please write city council, go to the meetings, etc. Put your voice out there. And like Simone said, please share out on social media, take clips, share them out on social. And it does make a big difference. So thank you all for being on tonight. And we appreciate you all so much, the work you do. And let's stay in touch, and we'll say goodbye. Thank you for being on.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.